And welcome to another episode of Gamerheads. My name is Roger, aka Rogue Leader 76, and with me are my co-host Blue,
aka Writer's View,
and my co-host Mike,
aka Pezman Mike,
and my co-host Christian,
aka Fulgan.
Welcome back, Christian.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Good.
We missed you last week.
We did.
Yeah.
I know, I missed you guys too. I'm sorry.
Just before we begin the show, do you have any final thoughts, wrap-ups of E3, Christian, since we didn't get your thoughts last week?
I think Final Fantasy VII looks good now. The Bethesda conference was a complete joke. Watch Dogs looks cute. And that's about it.
Cute?
I
Watch
love-
Dogs looks cute.
That's an
Yeah, I
awesome
want to run
adjective.
around as an old lady stunning and popping some
Right?
headshots on some dudes.
I guess running around as an old lady is kind of cute.
Yeah, if that game has permadeath and I lose Helen, I'll be like, that's it. Throw my controller against the wall, like I'm done.
Oh no.
Well, there's always another Helen, I guess. I don't know.
There is only one Helen.
Like Highlander. There can only be one Helen.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
Well, welcome back, Christian.
Thank you.
This week we got quite a bit in the news we'll be covering. We'll be covering EA and their surprise mechanics. Not loot boxes, people. They're not loot boxes. They're surprise mechanics. Surprise! Surprise! We haven't learned our history from our problems yet, or whatever. So
Yeah.
it'll be learning from mistakes. So we'll be talking about that. And then we got some other news as well, and then games that we're playing and your listener feedback as well. And then before we get into all that, though, our icebreaker, because Sonic turns 28, right? 28?
Wow. That's probably older than like half the people listening.
Yeah. That's probably true. So, because of that, we thought we would ask, what is your favorite Sonic game or Sonic-related, I guess, media or item, I guess. I'll throw it out there, too, because I don't necessarily know if I have a favorite Sonic game, but I certainly have something that I really like about Sonic, and it's not a game, but I'll mention
Okay.
that one when it gets to my turn. But Mike,
Is it the
since
movie?
you're the biggest Sonic fan, no, I don't know if you are or not.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, what? Did you not? Did I not tell you my pick? But sure, I'll go first.
Yeah, why don't you go first?
All right, so you guys thought I was joking when I posted that in the chat, but no, I really liked Sonic Spinball.
Oh,
So
no.
proceed with the groaning.
Uh,
But so I was I was like 14 when I think when that came out. I never owned a Genesis, but I did play some of the Sonic games, and I know everyone is going to say Sonic 2 is their favorite because that is one of the best Sonic games. But I was babysitting for a family that owned a Sega Genesis, and they only owned Sonic Spinball and like James Pond and like a sports game. So when the kids would be asleep, I would pop that in. That was the only game. So I would play that on nonstop from 9 until 1 when the parents came back. And I'm a big pinball fan. And, like growing up in that era, that if a game sucks, that you don't really know it unless it really, really, really sucks, like an LJN game.
Yeah.
But I had fond memories of playing Sonic Spinball, even though I could never get past like the second level. But other than that, I will say I do really enjoy and felt that the Sonic Advance games were very well done. So that's what I
Nice.
got.
Nice.
That's a nice story.
That is a nice
Yeah.
story. So, you were supposed to be watching kids, and
Yeah.
instead you were playing video games.
Oh yeah, they were playing on the train tracks and stuff. I was like, that's fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Blue? What is your favorite Sonic game or Sonic-related media?
Well, I never had a Genesis growing up either. We had one left at our house by my cousin briefly for a couple months, but he left us with Toe Jam and Earl, not with a Sonic game. So I really only have the barest experience with Sonic up until now, actually.
Uh-huh.
And then I love the Sonic Team Racing. It's not
Yeah.
perfect,
Ooh.
but I love it.
Nice. Yeah, boy, I kind of want to get that game. It looks cool.
Yeah. And of course, the Crash Team Racing came out
I know.
yesterday, and everybody was talking about playing it, and I'm like, oh, it's fine. I don't need it right now. It's fine.
Yeah, it's funny because I always imagine. I mean, that's the funny thing is that Crash is kind of like the equivalent to Sonic for PlayStation. It's weird. But.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Christian? What is your favorite? You are doing like every Sonic game, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Christian's opinion is probably the only one that counts.
Yeah, why'd you even ask us, Roger?
I don't know, because you guys are on the show.
Well, out of the 23 Sonic games I've played
boy.
so far, I think.
Oh my gosh. Did you beat them all, by the way? All 23?
Yeah, but except for like
yeah,
the
of
party
course.
one, like
Oh.
there's Sonic Shuffle. You can't really beat Mario Party. You can't really beat Sonic Mario Party.
Not with that attitude.
You got me. You got me right where you want me, Mike. But if I had to pick Sonic Adventure, the first one's got a soft spot in my heart for that one because I obsessed over it as a young boy with the demo disc on my GameCube, and then finally got it and played through it. A lot of nostalgia wrapped up in that, like Mike and Sonic Spinball. Sonic 2, very, very good. Also grew up with that one. Also a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in that one. The Casino Zone in Sonic 2. The background, it just like... It puts me in this weird nostalgic trance where I could just sit there and look at the background and just go, all day. Because there's like a city back there, and like little me like had no idea what was going on back there. Is there like a bunch of talking echidnas and hedgehogs back there? Or are there people there? Like what's going on in that metropolitan area back there? It's bonkers. But... Sonic 2 probably is my favorite. My favorite is probably one that I didn't play through until a couple years ago, which is Sonic CD.
Oh.
Really like Sonic CD a lot. It's got some cool 3D effects. The soundtracks, there are 2 soundtracks for the game. There's a separate US and Japan soundtrack, and they're both phenomenal. And on top of it all, the areas are huge, sprawling, awesome, and it's got the best Metal Sonic boss fight, and probably best boss fight ever.
Wow.
In any Sonic game.
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Really like it.
That's amazing that you went through all 23 games and you've beaten, up to this point. Yeah. Because, like, how many more do you have to go?
We're like, I don't know, maybe over a third done?
Oh, my gosh.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of Sonic games out there. Sonic Advance is next, Mike. I'm excited.
Ooh.
I've never played through those.
Oh.
Are you playing them in chronological order?
Release order.
Okay, yeah. Same,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
same.
I was just wondering, because in my backlog, I've got Sonic Colors, and I
I
heard that
gotcha.
was good, and I didn't know if any of you had played that.
Really? I heard it wasn't good. So.
Really?
No, that's what I heard.
We'll
That
get
was
to
on,
it eventually.
That was on the Wii, right?
Wii, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of crap before we get to that point. We've got like the awkward like PS2 era stuff. We've got Shadow the Hedgehog we've got to play. I am not looking forward to that.
Let's not forget Sonic the Werewolf.
Yeah, Sonic the Werewolf, Sonic Black Knight, Sonic Legend of the Seven Rings.
Wait, Sonic the Werewolf is real?
Yeah.
Sonic
Oh.
Unleashed.
Oh, my gosh.
You know what you should do is you should time them to be done in like 2 more years, right when they're planning on the next
Yeah.
main Sonic release.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In time for Sonic's 30th birthday.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That would be
I like
perfect.
that idea. Yeah, our plan is to get to Sonic 06 before the movie comes out.
Oh.
And then watch the movie and laugh at it.
Wait,
and then
is
you
it
have that
based
theme
on
of
the movie?
suckage.
Yeah.
I don't think it's based on the movie, no.
Okay. Cool. For me, okay, so I am with Blue and Mike. I never owned a Genesis.
Jeez. They're gonna make us give up our podcast.
I know, right? I know. And yeah, so I haven't played much Sonic actually, to tell you the truth. I played a little bit. Boy, Yeah, I don't even know how I played any of my Sonic games that I have played. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't even know how I played any of them because I don't own any Sonic games. I own Sonic Mania now because I was on the PlayStation Plus, but I haven't played it yet.
Same here.
But I have played some Sonic. I just don't know how. I must have went at a friend's house. But anyway, I guess my favorite, this is why I said the media, because I haven't really played much Sonic games, but I loved the Sonic cartoon. And I don't know, I'm afraid of going back to it because I'm afraid it's going to be bad. But I liked it, and that's actually how I became friends with one of my good friends in high school. He was a transfer student from, well, I shouldn't say transfer, but he moved, his family moved to my community and to my school. And like one day we were just talking, and I said, "Oh, what do you like?" And he's like, "I don't know." We talked about Sonic, the cartoon, and we both liked that cartoon a lot, and we became friends. I don't. It's weird, a weird reason to become friends with somebody, but that's how we became friends. So,
was he the one with the Garfield lunchbox?
No, no,
Oh.
no, no.
Why is that so funny?
You know Roger. He just giggles from time to time, and you just have to let him do it.
I know. Oh my gosh. Oh no, but it was in high school. We were talking about Sonic.
Oh, high school. Yeah, that's different completely.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. The first day of freshman year, we both brought our lunch pails. Yeah, we talked about this last week, and yeah, we got picked on a lot. So. Anyway, listeners, what is your favorite Sonic game or Sonic related media? You can let us know. You can send us a tweet at GamerheadsPC. You can send us an email at info@gamerheadspodcast.com. You can go to our website at gamerheadspodcast.com, or you can go to facebook.com/gamerheadspodcast and leave us a message there as well. All right, let's go on to the news. And I have quite a few articles here. The first one is probably the one that we're going to be talking about the most on this podcast. Mike, do you want to read that first one there for us?
As much as it pains me.
We appreciate you taking one for the team.
Yeah. Really. So this comes to us from Kotaku. So another wonderful story out of the magical land of Electronic Arts. They're saying that their loot boxes are not really loot boxes. All right, they're called surprise mechanics, and that's quite ethical. So EA's Kerry Hopkins was taking part in an oral evidence session in front of the UK Parliament's Digital, Culture, Media and Sports Committee. As the committee was looking at the link between loot boxes and gambling, the committee asked the question if Hopkins thought that loot boxes were ethical. And here is the incredibly educated response. We don't call them loot boxes, she said, and adding that EA instead refers to them as surprise mechanics.
Surprise!
Surprise! You lost money. She went on to elaborate on what surprise mechanics means. If you go to, I don't know what your version of a target is. I'm quoting. That's not me. That's the actual.
I know, but that's the funniest one. If you go to, what do you call it here? We call it Target. What is your version? Anyway, sorry, keep going.
A store that sells a lot of toys, and you do a search for surprise toys, and what you'll find is that this is something people enjoy. They enjoy surprises.
Surprise!
Surprise! And so it's something that's been a part of toys for years, whether it's Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals or LOL Surprise. We do think the way that we have implemented these kinds of mechanics in FIFA, which of course is our big one, FIFA Ultimate Team and our packs, is actually quite ethical and quite fun, enjoyable for people. So
wow.
I'm going to side with her on one thing, and that is those are a big part of American culture. These things, these Hatchimals, these Kinder Eggs, these LOL Surprise.
They are? I've never heard of any of those.
Oh, my daughter loves Hatchimals. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I went crazy for a while with these Cuphead blind boxes.
Oh.
The mystery minis, that's what they call them, mystery minis.
Really?
Yeah. And I had to I stopped after a point. I'm like, okay. Luckily I only got like 2 doubles, but yeah,
isn't that just annoying?
It is, but that then to that point you can also go back to baseball cards like that have been going around. But that's a whole other point entirely. The point is that it's a ridiculous thing for them to say. Just taking one thing and completely just twisting it to make it sound like it's a good thing.
Yeah. But
You know what this reminds me of? Do you remember that panel when all the like tobacco industry executives were all sitting in the room in front of the judge, and the judge asked them if they thought that cigarettes were addictive, and they all of them went down the line and said, "I do not believe cigarettes are addictive."
yeah.
That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah. Because it wasn't just EA that was there. I mean, representative from Epic Games was also there to talk about Fortnite and loot boxes too. So, but yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it's very much. And we see this in Parliament right now. I'm sure the same thing's going to happen here, don't you think? I mean, with Senator Hawley.
Yeah, probably if Senator Hawley and his 2 other senators that were on board with him last we checked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not if our government could tax it.
Yeah.
The
That's
loot
true.
boxes. I mean, surprise mechanics. That's a wonderful idea.
Yeah. I do agree to a certain degree because, yeah, I mean, my daughter loves Hatchimals and the LOL dolls. She doesn't really do the LOL dolls anymore, but Hatchimals. Her birthday was last weekend, and she got some money, and that's the thing she bought with it was Hatchimals. She bought tons of Hatchimals, and I mean, they're just little things that, like different creatures, and I shouldn't, I'm not going to tell her no because 1, it's her money, but 2, like I have boxes and boxes of baseball cards when I was a kid. So like, it's hard for me to say, no, you shouldn't be buying that. That's a waste of your money. But the difference is that it's a physical thing. So she can, trade them with her friends if she wants. She can sell them if she ever wanted to, like on eBay or whatever, because like some of those things become, like she had some ultra rare. It was like, oh my God, this is an ultra rare, Dad. This is an ultra rare. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
That's kind of like with Pokemon cards. My son only cares about the GXs.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh, I got a GX, and it's so fun and exciting. I will say this though.
Surprise.
Surprise. As you all know, I have a collection of Pez dispensers.
Yeah.
And in August, they're releasing LOL Surprise Pez.
Ooh.
And
Surprise.
I'm taking a stand because this is the first time that they're doing these where the Pez are wrapped up and you can't see which one you're getting.
Oh.
And they're doing that whole loot box or whatever. I'm sorry, surprise mechanic. And I'm taking a stand. That is one set I will not be adding to my collection because I'm not going to partake in something ridiculous like that.
So it's okay when Cuphead does it?
Yeah,
but
it's
not
okay
Pez?
when Cuphead does it. Yeah.
If it was Cuphead Pez and they were wrapped like that, would you buy them?
You know what? I'm just going to be quiet. People attacking me with your logic. Too early for this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have no problem if people want to buy loot boxes. They should be allowed to buy loot boxes. But the BS factor on this nonsense is just so high.
Yeah.
It's difficult to find any redeeming quality in this statement.
Yeah.
Especially even that first sentence when the member of parliament is like, do you feel these loot boxes are ethical? And then she like strikes back with a 5-year-old response. We don't call them loot boxes. And it's like, why does that matter, first of all? And second of all, yes, you do. The Respawn Twitter account tweeted out that their Star Wars game being published by EA will not have loot boxes.
Yeah.
That's like a week before they made this statement. Like, you call them loot boxes when it's beneficial for you to do so, and then once you're under scrutiny, they're like, oh, they're not loot boxes. What are you talking about?
Yeah, because they're going to have surprise mechanics, Christian. That's why they're saying we won't have loot boxes.
That wouldn't be good either.
Surprise
Oh.
mechanics.
I mean, if they should really embrace this surprise mechanics idea because there's a lot you could do with that. Like if they're selling FIFA, it's like half the games or a third of the games don't actually have the game in it, and it's like surprise, you know. You don't get a game.
Oh my God.
Or they'll put unsold copies of Anthem in there. Surprise, you get Anthem.
Yeah. I don't, it sounds, I think the thing that, I mean, I agree with you, Christian. The thing that to me it feels like is just that they're so tone deaf on this, right? They just don't understand. Oh my God. It just seems like they're so,
They're oblivious.
They're oblivious.
completely-
to-
yeah. Well, actually, no, they're not oblivious. They
no,
know
they're
what,
not.
exactly
They're
what's going on.
cornered, but they're
yeah.
not giving up.
Mhm.
Yeah. But why just not give up?
Because
I'm
they
sure
make
they
a
make-
lot of
yeah.
money.
Out of
They're
FIFA,
not just
I'm
going to
sure.
let that go because, some senator has a bug up their butt about it.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
the only way that they would let it go is if people stopped buying them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't buy loot boxes. I don't, and I don't see the need for that. And honestly, I don't really care if they put loot boxes in games. I probably won't just play those games then. But that's, I wish that the market would start showing like, hey, you know what? We don't like loot boxes, and we're not gonna buy them. We're not gonna take it. I don't know.
All
It's
right,
just-
then.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, until the market changes, they're gonna keep doing that.
Yeah. But there's like a whole industry built upon and like social structure built on just opening these random boxes. Like there are YouTube
Yeah.
channels where people sit there and open random stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And people sit there and watch those for hours just waiting for the one freak out moment when they get lucky enough to get something. Or
Well-
people will feel superior to others because they got, this super rare thing in a loot box and haha, you didn't because you didn't spend as much money as I did.
Well, to be fair, there's also streams where people watch someone else painting their room.
Yeah.
So they're
That's true.
literally watching paint dry.
Yeah.
I saw one of my friends sent me a link to one of those last night. I was like, how is this? How do they have so many viewers? That's my biggest question, but whatever.
That is a good question. But there was and I mentioned this game before, but Defiance, I loved playing that game. And, when you get a rare drop, well, any game actually, like Diablo or any of those types of games, WoW, I did this with, you'd get a rare drop and you're like, oh my gosh, look at this rare drop I just got. This is amazing. But I never bought anything, but I would always be like really excited when I got a rare drop.
I'll agree with that.
It's
Well-
purple. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess as long as you can play your way around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as you start adding the ability to pay money to get that feeling,
Yeah.
that's when it gets a little ethically dubious.
Yeah. Well,
But
and those games do have loot boxes in them. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I won't buy those things.
And I'd have a lot more respect for EA if they just come out and admit to it. Like, yeah, these are loot boxes. Yeah, it's a gambling mechanic. If kids don't want it, then they don't have to buy it. Like, we're offering something for them. Just to embrace the dark side,
Yeah. Well, and then if I was EA, if I were to spin this, I would say the same thing. Like, yeah, but so are like she said, so are Kinder eggs, so are Hatchimals, so are baseball cards. And you know what, parents? If you don't like it, then you need to do something about it. This,
Yeah. Turn it around on the parents.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I were in their PR department. But
Hey, EA, we have a guy for you.
Roger's damage control for EA.
That's right.
You'll earn your money there.
There you go.
Yeah. Have your kids do chores. They can earn money, and they can buy our loot boxes with that. That's what I did when I was a kid. I would do chores and go buy baseball cards. So there you go, people.
There you go.
A good
like
thing
what-
that came out of this were the memes. EA is just churning out memes because the last one was Pride and Accomplishment with how long it took to unlock Darth Vader in Battlefront 2.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're not loot boxes, they're called surprise mechanics. So people are taking that and running with it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not cancer, it's surprise exponential cell growth. Or I didn't kidnap them, I took them on a surprise holiday.
Oh,
Or I wasn't
Yeah.
speeding, officer, I was surprise accelerating.
That's what I'm saying. Is the BS
Brilliant.
factor is so high that
Yeah.
nobody can swallow it. Like literally
Yeah.
nobody, but I think probably Carrie Hopkins.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You just see her just sitting after
Oh
that
my
meeting, just
gosh.
like saying, like, "Yeah, I got them."
I did good.
Self-plug and everything.
Or do you think she walked out of the meeting saying, "What am I doing with my life?"
I highly doubt that.
I
She
wanted
probably
to be
got
a
patted on the back.
veterinarian.
Yeah.
Now look at me.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's move on to our next item here. Christian, you want to take our next news item?
Sure, Nintendo Life had an article about my friend Pedro being Devolver Digital's biggest launch to date on Nintendo Switch. So Devolver Digital tweeted, "My friend Pedro is one of our best launches yet and our biggest launch to date on Switch." While there are no sales numbers given, this announcement comes off the heels of the announcement made back in April, which we talked about on the show, and Devolver Digital revealed Katana Zero was the second fastest selling game on Switch behind Enter the Gungeon. So Switch and PC sales combined, Katana Zero was able to shift more than 100,000 copies in its first week. And so that must mean that my friend Pedro is ending up even better than that.
Well, you'd think, right? Like
That's
that's
crazy. Yeah,
That's
I didn't
crazy.
expect that. Like my friend Pedro, I always want to say is for some reason.
Yeah,
My
me
friend
too.
Pedro, like that doesn't seem like a mainstream appeal kind of thing. It's a little
No.
different,
Yeah.
like a weird cinematic shooter type thing. But apparently, it's doing gangbusters. That's good to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah. Has anyone played that game?
I haven't
No.
played it, but I've heard people really like it so far.
Hmm.
Those who got it at launch.
Interesting. Yeah, I was kind of tempted to pick it up myself, but I didn't. But yeah, it looks. I mean, we talked about the Devolver, I guess, conference or
Yeah,
video.
the Devolver Direct.
Yeah, the direct. And that game was one of the top games that they highlighted. It looked really good. It looked interesting for
Mhm.
sure. A talking banana. That's interesting.
Because
So-
why not?
Yeah, why not? So yeah, cool. Good for Devolver. So good on I don't know who created Pedro. My friend is Pedro. My friend
And now
Pedro.
you're doing it.
Uh-oh.
But good for them as well. So cool. Blue, do you want to take the next one?
Sure thing. Where are we? From Nintendo Life, Sonic Team is now preparing for the Blue Blur's 30th anniversary. Like I said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In March, Sonic Team's Takashi Izuka confirmed the development of the next entry in the mainline Sonic the Hedgehog series was officially underway. Recently, Takashi stated, "The next big year for Sonic is 2021. That's the 30-year anniversary, and we are now preparing."
Yeah. Are you excited about that, Christian?
Yeah, no. The last time they did this was Sonic 06. They were gearing
Oh.
up for the 15th anniversary of Sonic, and they were like, we're going to make it happen. We're going to release a new mainline Sonic. Everyone's going to love it. It's going to be great. It's going to be our best reboot to date, and it's going to reinvigorate the Sonic franchise as we know it. And it ended up being like a pile of poop
Oh.
because they tried to rush it, and then they didn't get it done, and then they're like, okay, get it done as soon as humanly possible, and then they just released it as a technical mess that it is. So hopefully, they're coming off this a little early. They got 2 years, right?
Mhm.
Yep. Sit down, take your time, make something good. Get the Sonic Mania team back together. Why not? They made the
Yeah.
best Sonic game in decades. Get them together.
Yeah. No, I think I thought I read somewhere that they were consulting with those folks, so maybe they will.
I hope so. I mean, 2 years is a short time span to make a game
Yeah.
in, but if anyone could do it, it would be the Sonic Mania team, and they could put together some cute 2D Sonic Mania sequel, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and hopefully they've learned from the last time.
Yeah.
It's been 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they took something away from that time.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. But I think Blue, I think that you've mentioned this in previous episodes, and I think this is true. It's like it's really hard to reinvent yourself.
Yes, that is true. But maybe they don't need to. Maybe they
Well-
can just, stick to what they do well.
I know, but then that's the other side. Then people will be like, "Why didn't you do anything different? This is just like old Sonic games." Like, it's hard. I think it's hard to, especially when you have 30 years of something. Although Mario does it, so I mean,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, they make the new Super Mario Bros. Games, and everyone's like, oh,
Yeah.
these are just the same every time, but
Yep.
those are the best-selling Nintendo games.
Yep.
They should just embrace Sonic Maker.
Oh, there you go, Mike.
That
You
would
should
be
go work
tough
for
because-
Sega.
There we go. Yeah. But that would be kind of tough because it's not just the straight one plane. Because I know that there's some talented people out there that can really make some awesome levels.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
because there's so many different branching paths on each level, that would be interesting
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, I guess we'll find out in 2021. The last news article I have here is from GameSpot, and I laughed really hard when I read this. Although I guess FIFA already has this, but NHL 20 will have a battle royale mode in it.
What?
And yeah, though it's gonna be called Eliminator, and this is a competitive mode where winner takes all competition inspired by battle royales. EA says, and it will have two versions, 1s and 3s Eliminator. So in 1s, 81 players compete against each other, though not at the same time, in what EA calls a survival tournament. Well, that's kind of cool, maybe. That plays out until one player wins. The 1s mode was introduced in NHL 19 and features groups of 3 players duking it out solo. So, like, are you not, like, playing hockey? You're just beating each other on ice? I don't know. These matches will continue, and one player is crowned Grand Champion. In 3's variation of Eliminator, which is basically squads for Battle Royale, teams of 3 will compete until one team remains. So again, well, I mean, that one maybe you could play a little bit more of, like, actual hockey, but are you just, like, going around and just skating and beating each other up? I don't know. Like, I guess I'll have to play the 1s mode because I have NHL 19. I'll have to try it and see what that all is, because I don't know. Although that's on my Xbox, and I don't really play my Xbox all that often.
Well, you should break it out now so we can figure out. Because just from reading this feels like one of those square peg, round holes kind of thing, you know?
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, but there was an article a couple months ago how hockey players are really addicted to Fortnite, so much so that they suffer, like, on the ice because of it. A lot of younger players, and I wonder if they're trying to tap into hey, you like battle royales? We'll come up with a hockey game. You can play as yourself now. Wouldn't that be fun?
That's got to be a very small market.
I would think. I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see. But yeah, they said EA went on to say that they already have this already in the new FIFA game, and I'm like, really? Guess.
Huh.
I'm not into FIFA games really, so. But maybe I should pick up the new FIFA game and try it.
You're just giving EA more reason.
I know. I wonder what kind of surprise mechanics they have in those battle royales.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I had for the news. Does anyone else have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we're in that post E3 slump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other thing I saw that was Platinum Games said something about the new PlayStation and the new Xboxes that are coming out, and they're like, it's more of the same.
I'm sure it will be. I mean, it's by more of the same you mean dedicated gaming console that with the improved graphics.
Yeah.
Like, there hasn't been any, if you look at the difference between PS2, PS3, PS4, it's a more powerful system. It's essentially you're getting the same games. And for anybody there saying, no, you're not getting the same games, I mean that literally. We have Resident Evil 4, 5, 6 on the PS4. That's the exact same game, only it looks nicer.
Yep. Although Resident Evil 2 Game of the Year, Mike.
I still have yet to get it, Roger.
I'm just saying what Christian would say. So,
thank you, Roger.
You're welcome. Oh, you're on the show. All right. Well, then let's move on to our listener feedback. And listeners, you can always get a hold of us. Christian, how can they send us a tweet?
At Gamerheads PC on Twitter.
And how can they send us an email?
At info@gamerheadspodcast.com.
And what about our Facebook page?
Facebook.com/gamerheadspodcast.
And what about our website?
That is gamerheadspodcast.com.
Nice.
Roger struggled last week with our
did. I did.
Uh-oh.
I did.
Roger.
I know. So last week we asked the question, what was your final grade of E3? So here are some of your responses. So, Blue, do you want to take the first one there?
Sure. This comes from @RetroGiftMonster, and they tweeted, "C, but honestly, I don't think E3 needs to exist anymore. It comes from a time when it was harder for companies to show off their games. Now they all have Twitter, YouTube, and Directs are a thing. E3 is redundant, wasteful, and can do as much harm to your image as good. Sony gets it."
That breaks my heart.
I know, I was like, oh, it's...
Because he's not wrong.
Well, he's not wrong, but I mean... It's still fun, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's still, it's a couple days. You get to be hyped about things and it celebrate how much we love gaming, and it's still kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Sony will be there next year, don't you think?
To show off the PS5?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Maybe not.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if they don't. Like, I don't know. I just felt like they just took a year off because they're like, well, we're gonna take a year off and then we'll learn from our mistakes from the last E3 we were at, and come up with a PlayStation 5. I bet you they'll be there next year. We should see. I mean, obviously we'll see, but I bet you they're there next year.
I hope we'll be there next year.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
And we can wear game shirts.
Yeah.
Just because.
We're totally wearing game shirts. And we're going to be like booed by the rest of the journalists, but we'll be like, we're gamers too, people.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, you're beautiful. No, I won't. I won't do that. I won't be yelling. I mean, if we do go, I would never yell at a conference. That's just not my thing.
Good job, Roger.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a dream like a couple months ago that I was going to E3 for some reason, and for some reason Hideo Kojima was working on a Metal Gear Solid sequel, and for some reason I was at the conference where this was being announced, and for some reason I knew that it was going to be announced, and then they announced it, and then I was like standing up and screaming. I was so happy, and then they had like chauffeurs come and drag me away.
As well as they should. As well as they should.
You're right. They should have dragged more people out of that Bethesda conference.
You, get out of here.
There's some great supercuts out there of just people going,
"Oh!" Yeah. It was that, and I'm not against people getting excited for things, but some people do it just because they want to be heard, and that's weird to me.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one... Christian, you want to take the next one here?
Sure, this is at Gamer Kratos. They tweeted it was about to be extremely lackluster, but due to Square and Nintendo's offerings, a good B+ overall.
Yeah. Mike, do you want to take the next one?
Sure, this comes from @SethTrav, and they tweeted a D+. Times have moved on from needing events like that to promote new games and technology. You can't even watch it on a network anymore, so why not just release your trailers and gameplay on Twitch or YouTube? What about this new in television, though? The dude. I don't care. I'm interested in it. Didn't say I was going to buy it. Said I'm interested in it. It's got Dracula on it, and that was one of my favorite in television games.
Oh,
of all time.
I've never played that game.
It was fun. You play as obviously Dracula, and you like
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Well, if Bram Stoker's Dracula was like 7 or 8 pixels, then yeah. And you go out and you leave your coffin at sundown, and you go around the town trying to eat people, and you have to eat as many people before the sun comes up.
Oh.
And then you have to make your way back to your coffin before the sun comes up.
That sounds fun. Is Keanu Reeves in that game?
I think he would probably have been about 9 at the time.
Oh,
but
so
yeah,
he's in his 50s. I don't know how old you are.
Yeah,
probably not as old as him.
No, but yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun game though. I would play that game.
But yeah, so no, it's he's got a good point, like we were talking about earlier. With with digital media and everything, things are changing. But yeah, D+. Ooh, pretty harsh.
Yeah. Blue, do you want to do the next one?
Sure. This is from @CardiacDrop, and he tweeted, "It's great advertising for upcoming gadgets and showcases of new releases and information. I watch the highlights and read the articles and also take in the Twitter banter. Keeps me informed and ready."
Nice. And I hope that they also listen to our podcast because
That also keeps you informed and ready.
it keeps you something. I'm not sure.
We are on the
More.
cutting edge of everything.
Yeah. Let's see. Christian, you want to take the next one?
Sure. At Srick360 tweeted, I'd give it an A. A lot of cool stuff shown off this year, plus some pretty meme-worthy moments.
Yeah.
That's true. I think the memes probably won E3 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love the memes.
This next one, this is my favorite tweet. Mike, do you want to take the next one?
Sure, this is from the real Dan M, or Dan M.
I think it's Dan M, yeah.
Dan M. They tweeted, I give it an N, which stands for Nintendo. That gets the Mike seal of approval as well.
Yeah. And then, Blue, do you want to take the last one there?
Sure thing. This is from Right4259, and they tweeted B-. Square and Nintendo saved it, but Bethesda, Activision, and Ubisoft completely shit the bed.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, really, I don't know. I thought Ubisoft's, outside of the dancing, Just Dance stuff, but the Watch Dogs looked cool. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that looks fun.
And Bethesda, yeah, their conference is just weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were. I mean, looking back at it, like the whole Orion announcement, like I was just like, what?
Really?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Christian, and maybe you can answer this, but for me, because we talked about this last week a little bit, and like why we should be excited about streaming games and like why games could be streamed and such. But like as a gamer, like maybe this is just my generation, and I think Blue and Mike, you probably would agree with this, but I don't really care too much about like the tech and like the specs of the tech. I just want to know, is it can I play my games? I don't really care about the specs.
Yeah.
What about you, Christian? Because like I feel like you might care more about specs than I do.
Yeah, I care about specs, but I wouldn't care to see specs on an E3 presentation when they're
Okay.
supposed to be announcing new projects and new stuff that they're working on. And I felt like that Orion announcement was really weird, especially for an E3 conference when they're supposed to be bringing the games, and what they talked about is bringing mobile game for Elder Scrolls to the Switch and announcing that they're going to crap on Commander Keen's grave with the mobile game.
Whoa.
And the original creator was not involved whatsoever. They just ditched him, cut him so that they could make a mobile game that makes money. And so, yeah, as a result, the Orion thing did not seem like a thing you announce at a press conference. I mean, it assuaged some of my fears as far as input lag was concerned and how they're going to get something like Doom, a very Twitch shooter, to work when you're streaming it. But that's not something you talk about on a press conference stage. That's something that you might mention somewhere else or just not mention at all and just let people see that the game streaming works themselves.
Yeah. No, okay. Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad that we're kind of on the same page there because I thought the same thing.
Yeah. It's interesting how varied E3 opinions are this year. You got
Yeah.
people saying Sony had the right idea. Why are E3 still going? And then you got people being like, oh, it was awesome.
Yeah. And there were some people that I didn't include, but there were some people that like gave it Fs. So yeah, it was all over. But all right, well then let's move on to the games that we're currently playing. Christian, let's start with you because I seem to always forget you.
No, that's okay.
Oh.
I know. Christian, what have you been playing?
Well, since we last convened, I finally finished Okami.
Oh, you did?
Finished Okami, yes. I've been chipping away at it for the past month and a half because it's a long one. That game isn't short, and I got the Platinum Trophy in it too for Platinum 106, so that added some hours to that whole thing. That added like 30 hours onto the end. But I thought it was pretty great. It's pretty great. I know that you played it at one point in time, Blue, and I remember you mentioning that the voices are like the Animal Crossing garbled, weird, random noises. I agree with you. They're absolutely atrocious. I turned the voice volume to 0 immediately as soon as I possibly could.
I need to do that.
Yes, I would highly recommend doing so because it's just ear-gratingly like bad. It's very bad. And it's like, it makes it hard to read the words on the screen because it's just these very loud, obnoxious noises. Not good. But the game overall, I thought was pretty good. It's got the cool drawing stuff so you can interact with the environment, and it's like very gimmicky, but it works. Like it works in a way that no video game has done it before. And I really liked it as a result. I would highly recommend playing it on Switch though, because if you're not, you have to like drag the control stick in order to get the ink to go across the screen. And that can like kind of kill the pace in some battles and stuff like that. Or it can like be a little inaccurate, whereas if you could just take the touch screen of the Switch, which you can just draw with your finger. That seems like it would be amazing. And I can see why people like the Wii version so much, because you can just move the pointer like that. But on the Switch, dude, that's a game changer. And the game apparently runs fantastically well on Switch too. Oh. So I'd recommend it there.
Nice. Yeah, I have it on the Wii. I just never played it. Oh
yeah?
My gosh. I have so many games. I'm embarrassed now.
It's a long one. It's been on my backlog for a really long time, and I finally bit the bullet and got around to it, and I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a Zelda type thing. There's dungeons and then like open world stuff. You're this wolf saving people, or like basically doing errands for people, and in doing so, you restore faith in the gods, because you are one of the gods. You're Okami, and you're the sun god, and so as you get this faith, you can level up your stuff. That's good. Combat's pretty fun. I really liked this personality of the game, though. It really knows when to play moments seriously. It's got some great climactic moments, some very good boss fights. It knows how to build up, some tension and get some big scale moments in there, but it also has a good sense of humor. There's one of the first characters you're introduced to is like this grizzled warrior man who's like destined to save the entire island or whatever, who's destined to save the universe. And he is like completely incompetent and inept. And so whenever he just like bumbles around and trips, and whenever he does a sword slash, you have to draw and slash something yourself. And then he just thinks that he did it. And that's great. Like that's like one little cool nugget of an idea that they've got more of those sprinkled throughout.
That's awesome. Did that first come out on the Wii, or what?
It first came out on PS2 back in the day.
It did. Okay.
Wow. I wonder how that worked on PS2.
Yeah, no kidding.
I played it on PS4. So it's you drag the control stick across the screen to do the drawing.
Yeah.
It's slow.
Yeah, the pacing must improve though, because what I've played of it, just like, good God, can the game please start, please?
Yeah, it does take a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else have you been playing?
The only other thing is I just finished Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night.
You did?
Yes.
And?
Yeah, don't leave a thing.
So, it's what it needed to be. It's a competent enough video game, and it will satiate fans by being a decent replication of Symphony of the Night to a certain extent. Because that's what this is. This is a spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night. Igarashi's back, and he's making the Symphony of the Night sequel he always wanted to, apparently. And Symphony of the Night is one of the only Castlevania games I have played through, and I love it. I mean, the game's gorgeous. It plays really well. It's got a great, halfway through, the game does this fun little twist, and then you keep going, and that was a really great moment. And so, Ritual of the Night is fine. It gets the combat right. The combat is really good. It's got that nice, slow, kind of belabored pace where you walk up to an enemy, which is how it is in like every Castlevania game. You do some attacks and then you avoid theirs, and then you get your own attacks in and then move on. I really like that. It's got this nice, sense of pace, this nice steady progression that you're continuously making throughout the course of it. And it's a Metroidvania, so you're uncovering sections of a map, you're hitting up the save rooms to get checkpoints and heal yourself. That stuff is all fine. But it's kind of a technical mess, which is the case for quite a few Kickstarter stuffs that have come out. I mean, especially like Mighty Number 9, that was complete garbage. Ukulele, didn't like it much at all. Some people did, but I didn't like it. And so Bloodstained, they got the gameplay right, which is what they absolutely needed to do. And so props on them for that. But I mean, the game, like, I've fallen through floors. I got an email from PR saying there's a game-breaking bug that can make a chest not open that you need to open in order to continue on, and that's like over halfway through the game. You could lose 6 hours of your progress because a chest wouldn't open.
You had to start
not good.
over, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yes, you have to start over for that patch to take effect, for a patch to fix it to take effect.
Whoa, that's brutal.
And like there's weird Kickstarter stuff in your face all the time in a weird way. Like the game has like a pretty like genuine tone, or like like a serious tone. And then you're walking through hallways and then there's like pictures, like portrait enemies, and they've got pictures of people who I'm pretty certain backed the project enough to get their faces in there. And there's like a goofy dude with vampire teeth in and like a dollar store vampire costume. And it like takes me out of it. And then there's these weird random dog and cat enemies everywhere. I was like, what's the deal with these things? Because they like stand out like a sore thumb, because everything else is like these weird grotesque suits of armor and like demon monsters and dragons. And then there's like these domestic dogs and cats. I didn't know what was going on with that. It really confused me. And then while I was watching the like 50-minute long credits, there's like messages that scroll across the screen that I assume backers put in there. They, shelled out the cash to put backer messages during the credits. And one of them was like, or a shout out to our dog who passed 5 years ago now, but their likeness will be immortalized in Bloodstained. Live on.
No.
And so I'm assuming these like dog and cat enemies are the animals that people shelled out the money to put in there. And I mean, these things are fine, but they're totally inconsistent with the game as a whole, and it completely throws in your face that this is a Kickstarter thing.
Yeah.
And
that's
to add insult
ugly.
to injury, there's 2.5D sections, right? There's Castlevania games that have 2.5D sections that are really cool, like rotating backgrounds in Super Castlevania.
Yeah.
There's like rotating pillars and stuff in Dracula X, I want to say it is. And that stuff looks fantastic. Like they manipulated the hardware to get that to work somehow. Now we have the hardware to make it work. And those 2.5D sections are just complete unstable messes. The frame rate chugs during those sections. I fell through the floor multiple times during those sections. Those sections are rendered in 3D, so you can't like hit things all the time. Your hits don't register because everything else is on a 2D plane where these are on 3D. So sometimes your hits don't register, and sometimes items that monsters drop you can't pick up. And there's only like 2 of these sections in the game, but they put boss fights on 2 of them, which is like bonkers. I don't know why they did that. So yeah, this game, there's a lot of flaws. There's a lot that I could sit here and rail on forever for days, and it feels like a Kickstarter project. This isn't going to be the next great thing. It's not on the echelon of Symphony of the Night. And I mean, it really couldn't have been as a Kickstarter project, but they, drew that comparison themselves with how much they copied whole cloth from Symphony of the Night into this, and they set that expectation. It doesn't live up to it. They get the gameplay right, but it's a little unstable right now. I'd recommend waiting to pick it up when it's like closer to $20 than the $40 it's launching at.
Wow, that's so crazy, because the people that I've seen that are playing it on Twitter are just raving about it, about how amazing it is and mind-blowing it is.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, there's a lot of technical problems with the game, especially once you get further on. I looked at the Steam reviews like day of release, and it was very positive. I think it was at like 92% positive. But I think as people kind of get further along in the game, they start hitting those game-breaking glitches. They start hitting those weird collision bugs. Or like the final boss was a pretty nasty end cap on top of it all, because I get to the final boss and it's like this weird, cool design thing. But it has an attack that causes this weird, garbled, staticky noise. And that's fine. It's a weird sound effect. It's disorienting, and it telegraphs the attack just fine. But the problem that I was having, and the multiple times that I fought that boss, I wanted to make sure it just wasn't one goof, was that whenever that attack happened, that weird static garbly noise did not stop when the attack stopped. And it continued. And it kept going for like the 20 last minutes of the boss fight and into the last cutscene of the game. I couldn't hear the dialogue because there was this weird noise over everything.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
bad.
You
Don't
sure
do
you
that,
weren't
please.
getting a
Please
fax
fix that.
at the time?
It sounded that way, Mike. I wish I had a fax machine so that I could, make that excuse.
Oh, that's terrible.
Ugh.
The part that you said about the backers and their pictures in it, like I like the concept, I like the idea, but you're absolutely right. That takes you totally out of the game when you see like some cheese ball thing game and you're like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
There's a ton of them too. It's like, oh my gosh,
Ugh.
you guys really needed to fulfill that promise and fill these 2 hallways full of picture enemies. Good job.
That's too bad.
But I mean, there's tons of small flaws. The core, the combat, they got right. You're leveling up. You're getting more equipment. You're doing more damage. You're exploring this castle. That's good. But there's a lot of speed bumps along the way.
Yeah. Oh. Did you write your review yet or no?
I did, but it's for New Game Network, and they do not post any reviews for E3 month, so it won't be up for another week or 2.
Okay. So,
That's odd.
stay tuned for that. Yeah.
Yeah, don't ask me. It's a weird business decision.
Yeah, it is, considering that the games don't stop coming out.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Blue, what have you been playing?
I have been playing Iconoclasts.
Oh,
Yes!
that game
Right?
is so good. That game
I'm
is so
in
good.
love with it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't believe I waited this long to pick it up. I don't know. I was just kind of like, I don't know about it for a long time. And then I don't know why, no good reason. And then I started playing it and I was like, this is exactly the type of game that I love.
Yeah.
You know, it's old school platforming. It's got a deep story. The graphics are fun. The music is fun. The controls feel great. It's just like, yeah, I love this.
Did you make it to the part where you have to escape the jail above the bar?
Oh, yeah.
Did you? The weird jokes that they're telling was kind of weird. That was kind of weird.
Well,
How far?
they're supposed to be lame.
Yeah.
How far along have you gotten so far, Blue?
I just escaped the tower.
Got it. I really like how that game, it's a story-driven. It's a Metroidvania in the sense that there's this map, like it's structured like a Metroidvania, but like the game itself doesn't
sort
play
of.
at all like one.
Yeah.
Like you get to pivotal moments of the story and you go to completely different locations in a way that I really liked and fit well in the story, and the story goes to some fantastic places. Really like it. How did you feel about the dialogue writing, Blue? Because I believe it was written by a non-native English speaker, and so some of the dialogue can be a little like verbose and weird.
You know, I was thinking that it was mostly unnecessary. It was not actually sharing anything that you needed to know. Like basically it's right now what I've been having is it's so you have the main character Robin, then you're with her older brother, and then the pirate girl Mina is your party. And then the whole time the brother and Mina are just fighting over like how stupid the other one is for believing their religion, and how could you do that when mine is clearly superior. And I'm just like, but these long conversations that they have don't actually go anywhere. They don't progress. They don't reveal any character or any, story information. It's just them bickering. And so then there was definitely a point where I was like, you know what? I will settle this. You're both stupid. Okay. Can we go on? But I didn't know, I couldn't tell that it was written by a non-English speaker. I just thought it was written by somebody who doesn't know how to write.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
the pacing gets better, the dialogue gets better, and like the last 2 hours, they don't get all bogged down in all of that. My religion is better than yours. This is my character. This is your character stuff. They just let moments sit and breathe in a way that's just like fantastic. I think that's Iconoclasts probably has the best like ending sequences of like any game I've played ever. It's very good.
Wow. Yeah. I like that the sense of humor is just kind of like dry and understated, but it's still funny. But then it's like all of a sudden, then you get these like really just like, whoa, I can't believe that just happened moment. I wasn't expecting that in a game like this brightly and colorful that like people would actually die and it would be bad and, that kind of stuff. So, but the thing that I think is fun about it, but then it also keeps it from being like a level of like a Hollow Knight type experience, is that it's structured to where you almost have no choice but to come to the solution of the puzzle. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It becomes more of like a puzzle platformer than it is a Metroidvania.
Yeah, it leads you just very expressly to the solution of what you're supposed to be doing. And so on the one sense, it's nice because you just keep moving along, and I'm just playing on the normal difficulty and I'm not having one single problem or hiccup. It's been very easy so far. So there's not the satisfaction like in a Hollow Knight where you're like, you had to work really hard to find out where you're supposed to be, and then you found the boss and it's destroying you, and so you had to work really hard to figure out, memorize the boss's attacks and figure out what you're supposed to do. And this one is just like, it's almost more about just letting you experience the story in a way.
Yeah.
But it does have one more difficulty level up, and I might replay it with that and see.
It does get a little harder from what I remember, and a lot of the boss encounters are like puzzles in themselves.
Yeah.
So you'll like have to look at certain bits of them and figure out which tools you're supposed to use and how you're supposed to use them in order to kill the boss. But after you do that, it's not so difficult. It's not so much a test of reflexes as it is in Hollow Knight. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like every character has a very set number of skills and tools. You know, like when you're playing as Mina, she has like 2 things that she can do. Yeah. So if you can't figure out how to beat that boss, it's one of the 2 things that she can do.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
So.
That is a true statement.
But still, it's awesome. I think it's a very, very good, very solid game. And it just, so far for me, falls short of being super great. Like, amazing, obsessive experience. But it is awesome.
Are you playing that on the Switch?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I played that on the Vita, and then it has a cross-play on the PlayStation 4, but one thing that was kind of disappointing with that is it didn't have a cross-save, so...
What's the point then?
Yeah, I know, right?
I think it was like cross-buy, so you buy one and then you get it on the other.
Yeah.
Oh.
But a lot of games do that, but then you can pick up your save from one to the other, but not this one.
I'm glad to hear you're playing it, Blue.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, I shouldn't have waited this long, but now I'm playing it.
No, it's something
awesome.
you got to be in the mood for.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm almost always in the mood for a platformer.
Are you playing anything else?
I did play some more Super Cane Magic Zero.
Yeah. Did you make it past that area?
No. So if you remember correctly, you'll remember that I was, from last week when I talked about it, I was completely overwhelmed when I was playing by myself.
Yeah.
With all the enemies. So then I got one person to play with me, and we were able to match the flow of the enemies. So we could kill them just in the time that they were respawning. So we couldn't make any progress, but we weren't getting behind. And so then it's when you have 3 people that we were able to make actual, progress. But then the problem is,
insane.
Like, I'm not going to be able to talk these people into playing with me all through the rest of the game.
Yeah.
They don't even like what they played so far. They just did it to me as a favor.
I had to pay them $20.
I was like, please help me. I can't do this. I need help. And they're like, fine, God, okay. And then like we played for an hour and they're like, so are we done now? Did you get what you need? And I was like, well, I guess so.
There's like another couple hours left. Can we keep
going?
Going?
This is like a 20-hour game, but no, it's fine. I understand you're busy.
So does that mean there's no scaling whatsoever when you get more or fewer players
in
a party?
There's no scaling whatsoever.
Except
that's
ridiculous.
The level of the enemies scale up to you.
That's crazy. Okay. That is...
so you can't grind and level up to the point to where you can do this by yourself.
Oh no!
Yeah, the design seems so broken that way.
And it's a shame because I was reading more about the history of this game, and it's actually been, I don't know, like 8-9 years or something in the making. Wow. And it was first as a Steam game, and then people really liked it, and so then the developers have been having people playing it and taking their feedback and incorporating it and then releasing a new version and then repeating that cycle, for all of these years. until they felt that they could release a real version on a console. And it's a shame because there's a lot of ways that you can tell that this was a labor of love. I mean, the attention to detail in the characters and the landscapes is really cool. There's so much variety in what you're looking at and the enemies that you encounter, and you can't enjoy it because if you're playing by yourself, you're running for your life the entire time.
Yeah.
So it just seems like a shame because I think that they worked really hard, and then to have this one thing essentially ruin the experience.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Can you play that online with people or no?
Nope. Couch co-op only.
Oh.
Which sucks because that would provide a way, so if you have to have 3 to 4 people to actually get anywhere, that would provide a way that you could actually play the game.
Yeah.
But instead, you have to bribe people to come sit on your couch with you.
I've got Doritos and Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Yum. Come on.
Come on over. I'll buy some pizza.
Yeah.
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
So, yeah.
Surprise.
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 Surprise mechanics. Anything else you've been playing?
I worked some more on the Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Still loving that.
The better of the two games.
The better of the ones.
Did you try killing the...
No, but I think I figured out how you can do it. Because when the new character shows up, it just stands in front of you. And I was thinking that the dialogue started right away, but it doesn't. It gives you time to walk up to the character and initiate the dialogue.
Yeah, and I think it says, do you want them to join you or something, right?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
Once you start talking to them, the decision is made.
Okay.
And so I was thinking if you just, attacked them instead of talking to them, you could probably do it. But since I hadn't done that from the beginning,
yeah,
I didn't continue it. Though if I knew it was an option, I probably would have done it with that dumb alchemist because he's like 98% worthless.
Yeah, but the vampire guy...
The vampire guy I like because his attacks is spreads and it goes up at that 45-degree angle, and which is very helpful for so many enemies.
Yeah, and he can fly.
Yeah, no, hardly.
Yeah, well, yeah, but he's gotten me through some areas. I'm like, I'm just gonna skip this and I'm just gonna fly.
I mean, I tried that because I took a turn because you can take some shortcuts if you have Miriam. But if she happened to, be dead at the time, you have to go the long way.
Yep.
And so one time I had to go the long way, and then I couldn't get through. It's like, I don't know, I think there's coffins that fall from the sky, and then those dog things that are jumping as well. And so I kept getting knocked back into holes.
Oh.
And so I was like, well, let's see if I can just fly through it. And then so I tried to fly through it with the vampire guy, but he couldn't fly long enough.
Yeah. That is his problem.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a weak vampire.
Yeah, he kind of is. And he's slow, too. If it weren't for his particular attack, he'd go the way of the alchemist. But
he's no Alucard, that's for sure.
No, he is not.
That's fun. Cool. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Mike, what have you been playing?
Well, I've really just playing... Actually... I was going to say one game, but it's more like one franchise. So for Father's Day, I was gifted with a copy of Mortal Kombat 11 for the Switch.
Nice.
Yeah, so I have been going hog wild on that game. I kind of I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Loved it ever since the first saw my first fatality in the arcade. I kind of drifted away right around the Mortal Kombat Armageddon time.
Yeah, me too.
Then that, and then the DC Universe one. It was, and then I really enjoyed Mortal Kombat 9, and I played that a lot. And then MKX, was not a big fan of. It was just okay, but now this one is just I am loving it, loving every minute of it. I'm very surprised because I've normally just been a Sub-Zero guy, but I found myself very much drawn to Baraka. And I've been there's an event going on this month where you can unlock special skins that are only for this month, different things. So I've been grinding that a lot. So I haven't even touched the story mode, but I'm enjoying that. The crypt is like its own separate game. And so my my son is also playing it. This is his first experience into Mortal Kombat, and he's been like researching the lore. We went to Walmart and picked up the 95 movie and watched it.
Yeah.
And so last night we fired up the arcade cabinet and we played the first Mortal Kombat game. And
Ooh.
he's like, tell me about Goro. I'm like, well, history lesson time. So, son, sit around the campfire as I spin you a yarn of the
There's-
prince of the Shokan.
If there's one thing I know, it's Mortal Kombat lore.
Yeah. I can't teach you how to be a good person or to balance a checkbook, but
Real life skills here.
Right.
Mortal Kombat.
That's right.
yeah. So Mortal Kombat 11, even on the Switch. So I was a little reticent to pick it up on the Switch because it's why spend them for the same amount of money? You can get the better experience on the better console.
Mhm.
But I've with the exception of a few moments where the gameplay kind of just chugs just a tiny bit, it's very much enjoyable and playable game, even when playing online. Um,
Oh, wow.
I haven't experienced. I think maybe the game crashed once for me, but you have these reports, people saying the game's crashing all the time. It's terrible. It doesn't work. I haven't experienced that. I even actually just yesterday I bought the Combat Pass too. So yeah, I am all in with this one, especially if the
Wow.
rumor that Ash being a playable character
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
is true. So,
Cool.
but yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 and the original Mortal Kombat. Those are the two games that I played.
Nice. Yeah, we'll have to play that online.
Yes, we will.
And now I feel like I should give that game some more attention because I really haven't played much of that game. So I bought into the hype when it came out. I'm like, oh, Mortal Kombat, yeah, I gotta get it. And then I was like, okay, it's Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna go on to a different game. So
Yeah.
but
It's cool that they released that on the Switch. I mean,
Yeah,
there's some
that is cool.
portable precedent for full-fat Mortal Kombats on portable consoles with Mortal Kombat 9 coming out on the Vita back in the day. But I think it's cool that they released a brand new Mortal Kombat on the Switch platform. And Digital Foundry did a really fascinating video where apparently the Switch, they let select developers overclock the processor or take off some of the power limitations to pump out higher clock frequencies, and Mortal Kombat 11 is one of the games that does that and a couple of first party Nintendo things where the hardware isn't beefy enough, but the devs are buddy with Nintendo, and they're like, okay, we'll take the chains off for you for this one.
Wow,
which is weird.
It is weird. Kind of cool, but kind of weird.
Yeah, but no, it's definitely a fun game. I'm having a very enjoyable time with it.
Nice.
Except when I'm playing against other people online and get my butt kicked, then I get angry.
Yeah.
And I actually looked that up too. I kept getting killed online, and I'm like, and I just seriously, I went to Google. I'm like, why am I getting so angry at online games? And I'm just like, because I guess I guess I get a little too competitive, and I just get real salty. I don't mind losing, but when I get absolutely destroyed, I yell at the screen. Just let me stand up.
You should read Blue's article on Rage.
Rage quitting.
Rage quitting, yeah, exactly. Cool. That's it then. Did you say, Mike?
That's the only games I played.
For myself, I've been playing more Assassin's Creed 3, so liberating the colonies from the oppressive British.
Nice.
In the game. And yeah, so Christian, I mentioned the other day, I'm like, there was a patch that came out, and I think they fixed some things. I was wrong. They didn't fix anything. Here's the thing. It has problems. It does. I mean, there's no denying that the audio, when you come out of a cutscene, it's like, it just sounds like staticky and just bad. And it sounds like it's chugging. But then once it gets past that 10 seconds of chug, then it's fine. But it's weird. You're just like, it's just, you can tell it's chugging a little bit. And then there's times where an enemy will pop up and you're like, oh, there's a guy there. How did that happen? And some of the animation is weird. And then one time I was playing and I took a screenshot of this. Where I was playing and my character got stuck behind a tree. I'm like, move the camp, get the tree out of my way. I can't see what's going on. So that was all kind of weird. But overall, I will say, I think to me, maybe it's because I'm an older gamer and I'm just so in awe of like that they can do this. But to be able to bring this game to the Switch is pretty amazing. I mean, a full-fledged Assassin's Creed game where, you know, this world is open and there's all these different side quests and you can all do all these different things in the game. And there's sailing. The sailing's so cool. And when I'm walking around Boston and I look out into the ports and I see these boats and I'm just like, wow, this looks so... I mean, I'm sure the remastered... It's hard to say this is a remastered, but it's still really amazing. I'm sure the other remastered versions on like the Xbox or the PlayStation look probably way better, but the game is still amazing that they brought this game to the Switch, and I'm glad they did. And it's weird that they, I mean, I guess it's because they came out with a remastered and they're like, oh, we'll bring this to the Switch too. But I feel like the other systems, like people probably were more. I mean, if you're just a Nintendo person, you haven't played an Assassin's Creed game before. So if this is your first entry into Assassin's Creed game, you get a little lost with the lore, at least, like of like what's going on and who Desmond is and what that all is about. And there are some missions we have to play as Desmond, which weren't as fun as the missions as playing as Connor. But I'm really enjoying it. My daughter was watching me play, and she said, it was I got to the part where she was watching me was the Boston Tea Party. And and I was explaining, I said, oh, well, you know, this is did you learn about this in school? And she said, I don't know. And I said, well, let me explain. And I went into this whole thing about how, you know, like there's taxation without representation. And, you know, the colonists felt that was unfair and they rebelled and blah, blah, blah. And she said, yeah, we learned about that, but we didn't call them British. They called them England. Oh, the same. It's the same. Because like I was saying, you know, and the British Empire was there and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, but we called it England. Oh, that's a good point. I don't know why it's British and England, but yeah, the same people. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's fun to play through. I love being a history major. I love playing through historical games like this. Yeah, it's cool. And so I've been playing that. Speaking of history, I should just mention this real quickly. We do have a treat coming up in a couple weeks because we will be getting the writer for Assassin's Creed Odyssey on a show, and they'll be joining us.
For real? Confirmed?
For real. Yeah. We emailed each other back and forth. He is now working on Ghost of Tsushima. Is that how I pronounce it? The story for that. So he moved from, I think, the East Coast to the West Coast. So he's getting settled in. But once that happens, yeah, he said, have me on. He wants to be on for the whole show. So that'll be so exciting.
Wow.
Yeah. So that'll be
Yeah,
really, really
I told
fun.
my brother-in-law that we might get him on because he's playing through Odyssey right now, doing a much better job of it than me. I forget what level he said he was, 51 or something like that. But
wow,
it's like, we might have the writer on. He's like, I have questions.
Well, write them down. Well, yeah, we can ask questions. And when I say writer, I'm not talking about like the new story creator mode where you can write your own stories and just some random person. I mean, the actual writer. So I'm super excited about that.
Cool.
So I've been playing that, and then the other game I've been playing, which I just absolutely love. Oh my god, I love this game so much. Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah.
That game is so cute and it's so fun, and the music is just phenomenal. Oh my gosh, I need to get this soundtrack. It is so good, so good. And
what exactly is the soundtrack? Is it remixes of classical Zelda stuff?
Yes, with like techno beats underneath it.
Okay.
It's
How much of the Zelda music catalog does it pull from? Is it all of it? Is it just the mainline console stuff?
Yeah, good question. I mean, there's a lot of like classic mainline console songs.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I don't know if it pulls from other games or not. But I mean, it certainly has the dun da 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 dun da dun da 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 dun dun. You know that piece.
Is there Wind Waker stuff in there that you've noticed?
Not that I've noticed.
I love the Wind Waker stuff, Roger. If that's in there.
Maybe. I don't know. There's a part where you're on the ocean and there's so there's surfboards and stuff like that. But maybe there is some Wind Waker music in there. Well, you can check it out on my Twitch channel.
Yes.
Our Twitch channel, I should say, twitch.tv/gamerheadspodcast, because I recorded a couple my gameplays through there, so you can see some of the gameplay and the music there. It's, oh my gosh, the music is so good. But yeah, it's so good. And so I've been listening to other people talk about this game, and they said that it's really hard to get into, like, because it's not easy, and it's a little bit of like a rogue, like I mentioned this last time, but I don't know. I mean, once you get like a good weapon, the game just kind of becomes a lot easier. I beat my first boss, and I'm on to the second boss now. So yeah, so it was really cool. Like, and my kids were watching me play the first boss, and they're like, "Come on, Dad, you could do it. You could do it." The other thing, Mike, I'm surprised you didn't mention this. The other thing that we both played was Kung Fu.
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
So, so Mike and I participated in the Kung Fu tournament, the Retro Game Brews Challenge, and so Mike and I took each other on in the first match, and I won the first match because I outlasted Mike.
That's right.
So this is really funny. Yeah, well, you beat me overall, but so this is funny. So people that watched it probably don't realize this, but we're in a room, like not a room, a channel on Discord, on a voice channel on Discord, and we're watching them play, and everybody else that's waiting their turn is watching, and they're like, "Oh, they're really good. Oh, look at, they beat Mr. X." And Mike and I are like, "Oh God."
Yeah. Like, what did we get ourselves into?
One of them said, "I can't believe I got hurt. I got hurt on the first level," and I'm like, "Oh, Mike, what are we gonna do?" I could die on the first level.
Yeah, I couldn't even make it past the second level. I was like, "Oh my god!"
I know. But actually, during the tournament, we both made it. You made it to the top level. I made it to the wizard boss, which is the farthest I made it before playing the tournament. I mean, when I was a kid, I beat the game, but as an adult, I don't know. I just forgot how this game works or something.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It was. My son was also watching me play that, and he was watching, and he was just like, I jumped over one of the little guys, and he's like, "Whoa, Dad, keep jumping over this little."
It was funny because the rest of us could hear him.
Yeah. Oh, you could hear him. Okay. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoy those challenges, and I really enjoyed the fact that I got to play against Mike, because I mean, Mike and I are like the same level, and like if I had to go against Mega Retro Man first, I would have just. But you beat him one round, didn't you? Didn't you get him?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Because that was your next opponent. He won it all. You won it all.
Yeah, it's like going from Von Kaiser straight to Tyson.
No, it's more like going against Glass Joe too.
Well, I was giving you a little more respect. That's why I avoided the Glass Joe.
Well, that was fun. It was a lot of fun. And, it was fun playing against Mike because we know each other, and it was fun to give each other crap while we were playing. But being in the Discord channel, the voice channel, the chat channel, and just hearing everybody else talking about it, like, "Oh man, like I can beat this game like in this time," and I'm like, "Oh my god, we're in so much trouble.
Yeah.
I can't believe this." But
we add a certain layer of comedy to the show.
Yeah, we do. And at one time, I forgot that I was streaming, and I was just like talking, just comment on my own gameplay.
You went into streamer mode.
I did.
Yep.
I did. But that's this is how I play games. I guess when I stream, I talk. I constantly talk when I play games when I'm streaming. So, but the next game is Super Mario Kart. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know. So I already said, I was the first one that said, I'm in. I'll take on. Not that I'm good at the game, but I'll play it.
Mm-hmm.
I realized how bad I am at those games when I join tournaments like this, but I still enjoy it. So, but yeah, that was fun. That's what I've been playing this week. So
also, real fast.
Yeah.
The Cadence of Hyrule soundtrack is already loaded onto YouTube.
Oh, I need to listen to it. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, Christian, go listen to it.
Yes, I'll keep my ear peeled for Wind Waker stuff.
You should. I mean, they might even have titles of the songs, maybe. So if there's something Wind Waker-esque. But what's cool about that game is that it takes the cadence of, what is that? Cadence of the Necrodancer? Yeah.
Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Oh, Crypt of the Necrodancer, that's right. And you play as Cadence, right? That's the character's name.
That sounds right.
And really, it's a Zelda game with that as the premise. Because like I'm playing as Zelda right now, which is awesome. That's kind of cool too. So you can play as either Zelda or Link when you first start the game. You're Cadence and you're brought into this world, and then a villain from your world is in Hyrule, and they want to rule Hyrule. And then you get to pick as Link or Zelda, which I heard Zelda is harder to play as. Link is a little bit easier. I didn't realize that, but I always want, it's a Legend of Zelda, so I'm going to play Zelda, right? And then, so I was playing as Zelda, and then later on in the game, though, you can unlock Cadence, and then you can play as Cadence as well. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it puts you playing that game puts you in a weird headspace because you gotta hit your button inputs on the beat.
Yes.
And then like you'll start finding yourself doing that even when you don't have to.
Yes.
And it'll like start tricking your brain.
Yes.
It's weird.
I like it though. I mean, I actually don't find it that hard. The only time that I get off beat is when I'm trying to run away, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I can't just like run away. I have to like go to the beat, because if you miss a beat, your character just stops. It says you missed a beat, so you can't move.
Yeah, and once you get off beat, then like things just go downhill so fast.
Yeah,
that's not good. No, I like it. I like it. You really, it's like a rhythm game, but it's a roguelike as a rhythm game, which is cool. But once the beat starts getting faster, then you have to process everything faster, and then you got to be quicker on your toes, and then it's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and there's somebody that hooked up a dance pad to their Switch.
Goodness.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Jeez.
Yeah. So they were playing that with the dance pad. I thought that was pretty amazing. That would be awesome. So that's what I've been playing. Before we go, then, why don't we go around and tell people how they can get a hold of us? And Christian, we'll start with you. How can people get a hold of you?
Sure, I'm on Twitter at Christian Cubza. Otherwise, you can read my reviews at Push Square, New Game Network, and GamerheadsPodcast.com.
Nice. And Mike, how can people get a hold of you?
You could find me on Twitter at TCThrowers. You can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/TCThrowers.
Nice. And Blue, how can people get a hold of you?
You can almost always find me on Twitter. My handle is at WritersView, and it's spelled with a Y, so WRY. And then I also have a website, which is writersview.com.
Nice. And listeners, as we mentioned before, you can always get a hold of us. You can reach us on Twitter, and that's at Gamerheads PC. You can also find us on our website, and it's gamerheadspodcast.com. You can leave us messages there. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/gamerheadspodcast. And then you can send us an email at info@gamerheadspodcast.com as well. The other thing I will mention real quickly, Blue, if you don't mind me mentioning, that you and I are going to be both running our Twitter accounts. So you'll see tweets from both of us now. So, So, Blue, thank you so much for helping with that. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I just thought that, because I know that Twitter can be a real time suck. And so,
oh my gosh, yes.
I just thought that since I'm on there too much anyway, that I might as well be jumping back and forth between two accounts.
Well, that's awesome. So thank you so much. And then the other thing I will mention real quickly before we head out is this is episode number 94. And our 100th episode is coming up really soon here. And I've already been reaching out to people and asking, hey, do you think you can help us with some giveaways? We have some really cool games to be giving away on episode number 100. So stay tuned for that. I'm really, 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 really excited about this. So, so I've been working really hard to give back to our community and the folks that have been helping with that. I mean, we'll certainly highlight them on episode 100, but they have been more than gracious to say, absolutely, we would love to help you celebrate 100 episodes. So. Yeah, should all be excited about that. So I'm super excited. All right. So, Christian, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me.
And Mike, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Always a pleasure.
And Blue, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And listeners, thank you so much for joining the conversation. And if you do want to give us some feedback and want to help our podcast grow, please go out to our iTunes account. There's a link in our show notes there, and you can leave us reviews, and you can also leave us messages. It helps us know what you think of the show, and then also helps us grow as a podcast as well, so other people can hear us. iTunes then helps move our ranking up in the iTunes charts, which other people can now helps other people discover our podcast as well. So any help that you can provide and give us feedback would be most appreciated. All right, until next week, keep playing games and enjoy the rest of the week. Take care.
Bye.
Good night.